I will be recording that session, so others can watch it later. I will. Now, let me ask you a question. And remember, you're all muted. So only the ones that are using only phone right now, only a smartphone, to be a part of that meeting, can you give me a thumbs up? Only the ones that are using smartphones and are not on a regular computer. Jane? Michael? Anybody else? By the way, I see only 16, and I know we have more people. We have 22 people, so it might be others. The reason I was asking, because we're going to do a fun, interactive thing during our meeting today, and and a part of it will be that you will need a screen to see us, but also you will need a mobile phone, a smartphone, to choose your answers for some of the things that we do. So Jen and Michael, do you by any chance have a computer that you can log into that meeting from, or you don't have a desktop available?
No.
No, we don't.
Okay. So I don't know if you'll be able to participate in that part, but you can watch it and it's going to be as much fun as, okay? So and that will be the first time we're going to try it, but what I want everyone to have their phone, their regular phone, okay, the smartphone available near them, and I'll tell you when it is the right time to do that, okay? So let's start with our meeting today. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna share a screen with you now. That's another thing that I will do from time to time. And I'm gonna share a screen with you. So, and when I share a screen with you, by the way, some of you can see that you can see some of us and you can see my screen, right? Or some of you can just see the screen, just the PowerPoint, okay? Now, for the ones that actually see like a little, some of us still nearby the PowerPoint, you'll see that on the top of that box are like different options, like hide it, make it a little bit smaller, okay? So that's actually will allow you to decide how much of your screen you want to see the PowerPoint and just hear me, and how much of the screen you want to see other people, okay? Does that make sense? Yes, can I see thumbs up? It makes sense? In the reactions. All right. I got a few thumbs up here, so I guess we're doing good. Wonderful. So that's another thing I want you to know about Zoom, that we can do that. So it's our second ever distance meeting over the internet using Zoom. But it is our first ever interactive distance meeting, and you're going to find out soon what I mean by that. So first, I want to start to thank all of you for taking your time to come and join us. I hope you're going to find it worthwhile your time. Again, you typically see either Deb, Joanne, or myself doing these presentations and leading these meetings, but there are many organizations that are behind it, and I want to thank for all of them. They were actually listed in the email that you received. I want to do a special thank you for Pastor Mac and Pastor Lynn and Living Word, because if it wasn't for them, we won't have the regular place where we meet in person, where we're not all of us locked in our homes. I want to thank always to Dave and Nancy. They're the devoted volunteers that always there first and the last one to go, taking care of it. Of course, Joanne and Deb. And I think we already did a little bit of who is here. So I will actually move on to the next one. Here's what we're going to do today. The first part will be, we'll talk about what is Zionism. And I have a misspell there, I know. It says us Zionism, but I guess it's also work. We are Zionism, you know. So I hope that will work well. I'm going to give you then updates, quick updates on the Israeli elections. There's some updates since last week, since the meeting last week. tell you about coronavirus also, an updated resources page that we have. Again, all the 3 Israeli elections, coronavirus, and updated resource will be a quick update. And then we're going to go to the second part of the meeting today. We're going to talk about Theodor Herzl because we're talking about Zionism. Okay, so this is what we're going to do 2 a day. Okay, so remember, we are recording this session. If you don't want to be a part to be in the recording, you can turn off your video as I trained you to do. You can mute your microphone. In that situation, you will just see what we do, but actually you will not be a part of it. So we talked about how to mute your video, how to mute your audio or mute and unmute, how to use the chat to write what we want, and how to use reactions to give us thumbs up when needs to. And I hope that the ones that arrive later will be good. So here's what we're gonna do next. What I want some of you to do, to share with us, what does Zionism means to you? And can you be a Zionist if you live outside of Israel? Before we even start with the class. So I'm gonna stop sharing that so we can all see each other. Now remember, you're all muted. If you wanna speak, all you have to do is just unmute yourself. And remember, what I wanted to know, what I was asking you is, let's start with what does Zionism mean to you? Anyone wanna share what does Zionism means to you?
Hi, Ilan. This is Dave.
Hi, Dave.
How are you, sir?
Doing wonderful.
Good, good. Zionism to me is the hope of a people that loves freedom, that relates to one another, that interacts with one another, and has a heart for Israel and all people. And it basically rules our lives because we believe in the Messiah, and going to Israel, it just reinforces our strength and our hope in our God. So that's, being a Zionist is so important.
And we share that with the Jewish people. We got Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And that's the bond we have. And we love that. We love that Judeo-Christian bond. To us, that's what Zionism means.
Good, thank you. Well, guys, because it is before we actually doing the class about what is Zionism, there is no wrong answer. The answer is right. So if any one of you want to share what it means to you, by the way, I see Tom and Kathy here wrote in the chat that they wrote love, support, and heart for the Jewish people in Israel. If anybody else want to add it in the chat or want to share with us, you know, you can just unmute, share with us. I'll give you a moment more to think before we move on to the next part. And remember, if you want to speak, you need to unmute yourself.
Hi, Ilan. Yeah, I just feel like we have it in our heart to be we're Zionists because we love Israel and the Jewish people, and just have a real heart that God gave us for the land and for the people.
Good, thank you. Thank you so much. Good. What I'm going to do now, we're going to go to something that I've never done before in that fashion. And we're going to do a quiz, all of us together, before we even see the class. Then we're going to take that same quiz after the class. And so, meaning I expect all of you to fail before the class, so it's okay to be wrong. We're going to do it in a fun way. We're going to use our phones to put the answers in. It's going to be a really kind of a fun way of doing that. I think it's a good time, you know, in a time like that where all of us close in our home for the whole day, is to have something that really just, you can just have fun, you know, while we're studying about something that we care about. So we're going to use a tool, and I'm going to explain to you how to do that. So I'm going to show each one of you where to go on your phone to a website, and then it will ask you to place a number. I'm going to tell you what that number is on the screen in a moment. After you will put this number in, it's going to ask you for a nickname. So you can just put whatever nickname you want. If you don't want anyone to know who you are, you can just put a nickname, because it's going to show how well we did on the screen. It's going to share who is first place, second place, third place, who got it right, who got it wrong, you know. So if you just want to put a nickname that no one will know who you are, you can do that too. You want to, if you're saying, hey, I don't care, you can just put your name. Okay. So here's what we want to do, and I'm switching here to a screen where it will be easier to see that. And I'm going to share it right now. Okay, do you all see this website?
Mm-hmm.
What I want to do is, your phone, just go to this website right now. Okay, and then wait for me for a moment. So open whatever web browser you have. You have Android. By the way, if one of you is on your phone with us, but you have a computer that you can go to the internet, then you can use the computer to go to the internet to go to that same one. You just reverse what you do. Is that make sense? If you have a laptop, you can just go to www.kahoot.it and you can do it from there. It's just that the reason that I need one device showing my screen, because the way it will work, that is on the screen, I'm going to show you a question. And on your phone or your other device, you can choose out of 4 options, what do you think the right answer is? Promise you it's going to be a lot of fun. If I'm going to be a little bit silly, forgive me, just because I would like to have fun. So what you should all have, if you want to Kahoot.it, you should have a screen like that. You know what? I'm going to stop my background. I need to stop my background here. Hold on. Because when I have this background, my phone doesn't show as good as I want it to. I'm gonna take the Israeli beach just for a moment, okay, guys? So you should have, but by the way, and let me just mirror that so it will look the right way. Here we go. You should have all something like that on your phone. If you're doing it on a computer, by the way, don't use the computer where you have Zoom on, use a second computer. You should also have something like that. We're saying game pin, okay? So let me ask you, how many of you, here I'm going to put the beach back. So I want to have you do on your Zoom computer, if you have that Kahoot.it on your screen, give me a thumbs up in the reactions. Good. Or you can just give me a thumbs up even like that if you want to. Now let me ask it differently. If anybody does not have this Kahoot where it says enter your PIN. So we're all there? Okay, good. So if you have that, now I'm going to share a screen with you that will tell you which PIN you have to put in, okay? Here, I'm going to share it now with you, because every time it's actually generates for us a new PIN. So I'm going to share the PIN with you. You all see on, hold on, it's hiding it here a little bit. Here we go. You all see the PIN number 674 0938. You can see it on your screen, but enter it in your other phone, okay? Okay, I have 4 people in. I'm waiting for more people to come in. Got 5 people in. 6, good. 7. All right. 8. Lex, Nelly, Bob, Jahan, host, that's me, Squirrel, Navy Davy. I wonder who it is. I think I know. KJ. Good. 10 players. Tommy G. Mark. 12 players. Come on, we can have more. Anybody else need help about how to use it? You can unmute.
I'm having trouble with my cell phone. Just ignore me.
No, but is that because you don't have internet access, or you just open a regular browser, or you go to the?
I know. I've just got too much stuff on there, and I don't have time to deal with it right now. Just go on without me.
Okay. Mike just joined us. Come on, we can have more. 14, all right. Can I have another one? Okay, so here's how it's going to work. You need to look at the Zoom screen that you have in front of you, right? You will see there a question. And first it will show the question. Then it will move the question to the top, and it will show you 4 options for different answers. Every option for an answer will be in a different color. When you figure out what you think is the right answer, you go to your phone where you have the Kahoot. It will have 4 colors in there, and you just press what you think the right answer is, okay? So we're going to do that first round as a trial, and especially that we didn't do the class yet, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun, okay? So
yeah, I'm sorry. Can you give me the pin again?
yeah, the pin is 6740938. Now, if you don't see the pin, that's not good, because it's supposed to show it on your screen.
67409.
Do you all see a screen that says kahoot.it with the pin on the screen?
It didn't take that. 6740938. It wouldn't take it.
6740938, the one that is on the screen?
Right. It said, I hit enter, and it says, there was a problem with the game pin. Please try it again. But it,
Okay, so let's see if we'll try to.
that's okay. Go ahead and go. Don't
Yeah,
wait
so
for
we're
next.
gonna do that without that. Okay, so I'm gonna start it. Remember, it's gonna show you a question. Again, the first couple might be a little bit in. Remember, you don't supposed to know most of the answers, so it's okay if you're gonna get it wrong. Okay, ready? Let's go. So we're gonna have 10 questions. Are you ready? Quiz. How long have the Jewish people been connected to the land of Israel? Here are the options at the bottom. Push the right color on your phone. All right. We have 12 people that answered it. The right answer is over 3,000 years, and all of us got it right.
Yay!
On your shoulder, we got it right. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Oh, by the way, before we go to the next one, okay, here's the ranking. Now, why there's a ranking if all of us got it right? Because when all of us got it right, the one that got it fastest get more points than the one that didn't get it right, okay? So this is the current ranking. Even so all of us answer it right, here are the leaders. Now, I have to tell you one thing. Don't try the next question to press really quickly, because sometimes when you're rushing, you press the wrong answer, and I don't think it will let you choose a different one. You have like one shot, okay? So let's go to the next question. Which two nations destroyed the two Jewish? So the right answer is the Babylonians and Romans did. These are the two nations. 7 of us got it right, okay? A few of us got it wrong, okay? By the way, your phone will tell you if you got it correctly or not. But remember, the right answer for which two nations destroyed the two Jewish temples is the Babylonians and Romans. Let's go to the next question. Oh, actually, first, let's see the ranking. Whoa, look at that. We have 3 that are really kind of piling up. Navy Davy making it to second place right there. Bob and Mike well as well. And let's go to the next question. True or false, the land of Israel has always been the geographic center of Jewish faith and practice. And the right answer is true, and 12 of us got it right. Maybe I got it wrong, I don't know. But somebody got it wrong. Now let's see how we're all. And, oh, there was a little bit change here. Bob dropped to 4th place, and you can see exactly, or 5th place, but you can see exactly how we all do. Let's go to the next one. Oh, up 3 places. Nelly is the highest climber. Ooh, all right. Returning to the land of Israel is integral to Jewish. The right answer is all of the above, and 12 of us got it right. Let's see how we're doing. Ranking still looks good. Bob has the highest answer streak for 4. Woo! Well, I think a few of us does, but Bob still gets it. Let's go to what are 2 examples of Jews remembering Jerusalem during holidays, life cycle? That's a tough question. Okay, actually there are 2 right answers. Actually, I'm sorry. It's supposed to be only 1. The Jewish weddings and Passover Seder. But it's actually showing 2, Tisha B'Av and Yom Kippur. It might be that these are, oh, these are the 2 examples. Were we supposed to pick 2 of them? I don't know. We're going to find out later. I might have messed up here a little bit, but we're going to do that quiz again. So I'm going to try and actually choose 2 options, because it's actually showed that only 3 of us got it right. Somebody chose Jewish weddings and Passover Seder, which is the right answer. 2 others chose Tisha B'Av and Yom Kippur, which is also a right answer. The yellow and the green was not the right answer. Okay, let's see how we're. Uh-oh, I went up to second place. It doesn't supposed to happen. I was trying to keep myself really low, but answers, I prepared that, it doesn't count. All right, let's go to the next question. What does it mean to make aliyah? Okay, the right answer is to immigrate to Israel. That's the right answer. Let's see how we're doing on the standing here. Here we go. These are the new standing, and yeah, somebody there have the highest answer track of 6. Let's go to the next question. Who founded Chovevet Zion, wrote author on Sepei, and called for a Jewish state? Again, who founded Chovevet Zion, wrote auto on citations, and called for a Jewish state? The right answer is Leon Pinsker. By the way, I'm sorry, I was trying to read that question fast, but there's Hebrew in there and also some English word that is hard for me to pronounce. So please forgive me. But you see always the question on the top. In the case that you want to read it yourself, you can always read it at the top and pick the right answer. And here's the new standing. Let's go to the next question. Which one of these is not a form of Zionism? Academic Zionism is not historically a form of Zionism. All the rest are. There is political Zionism, there's labor Zionism, there's religious Zionism. But there was no academic Zionism. So that's actually the right answer for this question. Let's see how the standing are right now. All right, here are the new standing. And let's go to the next question. Who is considered the father of modern Zionism? Theodor Herzl is the right answer. And let's see how the standing changed just a little bit. Let's go to the next question. Which of the following are examples of Zionism? So we have actually the right answer. I think you decided maybe all of them are right answers. What do you think? I think they are.
That's what we thought.
Yeah. So looks like all of them are right answers.
Except we didn't press any buttons.
You know, when you see that there's only 1 second left, press whatever button you see, you know, whatever available. Choose the color you like, you know, or press blue for Israel, you know, something like that. Okay, let's see. Here's the podium. Mike, 8 of 10, right. Navy Davy, 8 of 10. And number place 10 out of 10 is Squirrel. Yeah, woo! Yay! Runners up. Here are the runners up. Each one of you did great. We actually it was surprisingly really good before even getting the information. So I'm going to actually close it. All right, and I'm gonna stop sharing here. We're gonna go back to the thing. So what did you think about our interactive part? You can unmute your microphone. Actually, I'm gonna unmute all of you.
I love it.
Here, I unmute all of you. Actually, some of you are still muted. I don't know why.
You have to,
Ilan,
Yeah.
I would have gotten more. I couldn't see the questions or the answers.
Yeah, that's why I said you need two devices, and the best.
I did that.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I got a lot.
Good, good. Can I see everybody give me reaction, thumbs up, or with the things? Did you like what we did right now? Was it fun?
Yeah,
Was it a fun way to feel like, all right, getting a lot of thumbs up here? Great. All right. Let's see, I'm gonna look here at the chat. See, some people were having a problem. Okay, what we're gonna do next, we're gonna see a 10 minutes short video that teaches us what is Zionism. They were purposely made to be very fast, so it's not gonna be like a lengthy video to provide us a lot of information. Remember that we're recording that, so you can always come back and if you want it. But remember that actually in the quiz that we did before are some of the important questions that you actually want to remember, and you will get the answers for it in the video. You will get more. And here's the fun part. After the video, we're going to do that quiz again, so we can see how well, if we all get better and know the answers better. So I'm going to switch here to a video, and I'm going to run a video called What is Zionism? And just going to prepare it, make sure that I'm getting everything right. I'm going to mute all of us, okay, all of you during the video. So I just did that. I muted all of you. And I'm going to tell the computer here that actually we're going to watch a video.
What exactly is Zionism? Where did the idea of Jewish return to the land of Israel, which came to be an integral part of Zionism, originate? And what did this return mean to different groups at different times? Was and is there more than one kind of Zionism? For starters, we have to know that Zionism didn't begin with Theodor Herzl. The roots of the Zionist idea grow deep in the land of Israel. The Jewish people's connection to the land has been at the center of their story for at least 3,000 years. For about 1,000 years, the Jewish people built a rich and thriving ancient civilization in the land. This lasted until the year 70 CE, when the Romans destroyed the Jewish temple in Jerusalem and exiled the Jews from their land. For the 2,000 years since then, Jews scattered across the globe have been carrying a collective connection to the land of Israel and a hope to return to it. But let's go back to the beginning. According to the biblical record, the Jewish patriarchs and matriarchs made their home in the land of Israel. Their descendants, freed from Egyptian slavery, returned to the land several hundred years later. Centuries of civil war among the Israelite tribes was followed by the United Kingdom of David, and later Solomon, which centralized Jewish worship in Jerusalem with the establishment of the first temple. Of course, there are debates over the historical accuracy of many biblical stories. But what's grounded in historical fact is that the Jewish people living in Israel centuries before their exile told these foundational stories. Perhaps more importantly, these stories have been essential to Jewish identity for millennia. But back to history. After some 4 centuries of religious and national development under Jewish rule, the land was invaded by the Babylonians. The Jerusalem temple was destroyed and many Jews were exiled to Babylon. This was a period of great devastation for the ancient Jewish civilization. It was only after the Babylonian Empire fell to Persia, roughly 50 years later, that those exiled were eventually able to return in a remarkable and historic homecoming. Referred to as Shivat Zion, or the Return to Zion, this movement was initiated by the visionary leaders Ezra and Nehemiah. The Jewish community was revitalized and the temple was rebuilt. In many ways, this shorter period of exile and return can be seen as a precursor to the ideals and ambitions of Jewish self-determination that is now known as Zionism. Jewish civilization in ancient Israel then continued for another 400 years until the Romans destroyed the Second Temple and exiled the Jewish people yet again in the 1st and 2nd centuries. This time, though, the exile would last 2,000 years. Of course, this is a fairly simplistic, condensed summary of a much more extensive ancient history. But what it all means is that for 1,000 years, the land of Israel was the center of Jewish political and cultural life and day-to-day society. So there's an ancient connection between the Jewish people and the land of Israel. But if the land is so important, then how were Jews able to remain Jews for almost 2,000 years without living there? Well, despite their distance from it, the land has always remained the geographic center of the Jewish faith and religious practice. The annual cycle of the biblical Jewish festivals are based on the agricultural cycles and seasons in the land of Israel. The Maccabean revolts commemorated by Hanukkah also occurred in the land. The biblical and post-biblical stories still studied today were rooted in the land. The rabbis that taught and developed the very foundation of Jewish practice resided in Israel. Their teachings were compiled in the 63-volume legal anthology known as the Mishnah, the basis of Jewish religious law even today, also written in Israel. Even the longing for their return to the land developed into a foundational piece of Jewish religious, cultural, and national identity. The Jewish liturgy includes prayers 3 times a day for a collective return to and rebuilding of the land. Religious study includes ancient rites and rituals that would only apply once the Jews were to return and rebuild the temple. At the close of the Passover Seder, Jews call out "next year in Jerusalem," and each summer on Tisha B'Av, the Jewish people mourn the destruction of the temple and their exile from the land. At Jewish weddings, the couple breaks a glass in commemoration of Jerusalem's destruction and the hope that they return to it. From country to country, throughout the diaspora, Jews maintained a deep faith that they would one day be returned to their homeland. Some Jews even made efforts to actualize that dreaming by immigrating to Israel, known as making Aliyah. The long and dangerous journey was difficult and often life-threatening. Many who set out on Aliyah didn't make it. The 13th century Spanish rabbi Nachmanides was one of the first medieval rabbis who traveled to Jerusalem, hoping to renew Jewish life there. He found the city in desolation as a result of the Crusades, yet he succeeded in reestablishing a lasting Jewish communal life there and established a synagogue that is still in use today. After the expulsion of the Jews from Spain in 1492, a large number of Jews immigrated to the land. Among them were the families of future rabbis who would become pivotal in the development of Judaism. These included Rabbi Isaac Luria and Rabbi Joseph Caro, both of whom became the leaders of the mystical Kabbalistic movement that emerged in the city of Tzfat in northern Israel. The influx of Jews from Spain and North Africa led to a golden age of Tzfat, during which the city was a global center for Jewish learning and trade through the 15th and 16th centuries. In the late 18th century, some followers of the Hasidic movement also began to make Aliyah to the land of Israel. One of the earliest Hasidic masters, Rabbi Menachem Mendel of Vitebsk, settled in Tzfat with 300 of his followers in 1777, the first of several Hasidic settlements. During roughly the same period, the Vilna Gaon, who many considered the greatest Jewish scholar in centuries, wrote that the long-awaited redemption would only come once the Jews took practical action on their own and settled the land of Israel. They could not rely on prayer and meditation alone while waiting for a messianic age. So in the early 19th century, more than 500 disciples of the Vilna Gaon made the difficult and dangerous journey to Israel, settling in Jerusalem, where they revived ancient rituals and customs and established schools. Later, in the mid-19th century, Rabbi Yehuda Alkalai and later Rabbi Tzvi Hirsch Kalischer also stressed that redemption would only come as a result of practical steps. They called for resettling of the land as a method of Jewish self-help and shared many ideas that would later be applied by the Zionist movement. Okay, so there were plenty of small migrations and movements to return to Israel. But how did these give way to the organized mass movement of Jews from around the world returning to the land that we know today as Zionism? Well, a large part of what fueled such organization was the idea of Jewish emancipation that emerged from the Enlightenment in the 18th century, combined with the new 19th century concept of nation-states. Added to the mix was the intensifying persecution of Jews in Europe. In 1882, a pamphlet called Auto-Emancipation, Warning to His Kinsman from a Russian Jew, was published by a physician named Leon Pinsker. Pinsker came to the novel conclusion that hatred of Jews, what he termed Judeophobia, wouldn't be overcome by a change in Jews' political status in their host countries or even by equal rights. Instead, he argued for a new approach, the establishment of a sovereign political Jewish state. He then founded an organization called Chovevei Zion, or Lovers of Zion, which began to facilitate the emigration of Jews to the land of Israel. This was the birth of a practical or political Zionism that aimed towards the eventual creation of an independent nation state for Jews. And when Rabbi Samuel Mohilever and his disciple Rabbi Yitzchak Yaakov Reines became leaders of Chovevei Tzion and its religious offshoot, the Mizrahi movement, it marked the beginning of religious Zionism as a movement and its early partnership with political Zionism. But these weren't the only Zionist ideas in development. Another Zionist movement began to emerge in 1888 with the circulation of an essay called Lo Zu Haderech, or This Is Not the Way. It laid out a harsh critique of practical Zionism and was written by Achad Ha'am, the founder of what would come to be known as cultural Zionism. Achad Ha'am had been influenced by Pinsker's pamphlet and ideas and was a member of Chovevei Tzion. But he was critical of the feasibility of practical Zionism and the massive immigration that it envisioned, let alone the large-scale establishment of a nation-state. Instead, Achad Ha'am proposed the gradual establishment of a Jewish cultural renaissance that would unite Jews across the world with its spiritual center in Israel. Two of its central goals would be a revival of Hebrew language and Jewish literacy. But there were yet other strands of Zionism developing during the same period. Socialist and labor Zionist movements, inspired by Marxist ideals, aimed to work the land in order to create a socialist communal model of society. In time, these efforts would eventually lead to the early kibbutz movement. But then how did all of these different movements eventually come together? Well, this is where a Jewish Austrian journalist named Theodor Herzl finally comes in. Just 5 years after Pinsker's death, Herzl published his book, Der Judenstaat, or The Jewish State, in 1896. This changed everything. Not necessarily because Herzl's ideas were so new, in fact, they were very similar to Pinsker's, but mainly because the timing was so perfect. There had been so many Zionist developments that the stage was now set for Herzl's vision. And so, when Herzl convened the first Zionist Congress, Pinsker's Chovevei Tzion was absorbed into Herzl's new Zionist organization. But disagreements remained. Achad Ha'am, as before, opposed what he now referred to as Westernized Zionism. He saw Herzl's Zionism as devoid of Judaism and as an abandonment of Hebrew language and Jewish culture in preference of a purely Westernized state. He considered Herzl's vision of mass immigration and a nation state to be wishful thinking. He also objected to the Zionist movement's general dismissal of the Arab population already living in the land. Herzl died in 1904, and so he didn't witness the most significant development towards his vision, which came 13 years later when the Balfour Declaration was issued in 1917. This was a statement by the British government that supported the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people. It was a hard-won result of more than a decade of effort by Zionist leader Dr. Chaim Weizmann. Weizmann's mentor, none other than Achad Ha'am, advised him during the Balfour negotiations. Ultimately, Achad Ha'am's cultural Zionism merged with Herzl's political Zionism once it was clear that not only was a Jewish state feasible, but that a large immigrant population and Jewish culture were already flourishing in the land. So, do we think there's just one idea that defines Zionism? Or that Zionism is the same for everyone? Whatever one's flavor of Zionism, be it political, religious, cultural, social, or other, the unique advancements for the Jewish people that have come with the State of Israel demonstrate how self-determination fulfills not merely a single expression of Zionism, but a Zionism that can cover the entire spectrum of Jewish life. Zionism is not just about the successful return to Jewish sovereignty that was central to political Zionism, or the spirituality and national redemption that was a concern of religious Zionism, or the establishment of a socialist community dedicated to radical equality that was an ideal of social Zionism, or even the revitalization of an ancient language, literacy, and culture that was the ambition of cultural Zionism. Zionism is all of these things, and much more. It is an acknowledgement of the unique role of the State of Israel in establishing a thriving modern Jewish civilization as the embodiment of the Jewish people's connection to their ancient homeland that is rooted in history and dedicated to the future. Thanks for watching. See you guys next week.
By the way, first I want to, there's something I didn't say before I showed the video. I want to thank my dear friends. If you remember, one of the sponsors or the curriculum that we're using also in previous meetings, in some of the previous meetings was by an organization called Jerusalem U, which I have the privilege to be on their board of advisors, and I love their material. And they changed their name, actually. They called now Open Door. And door in Hebrew actually means generation. So it's like double meaning. You have open door, open generation, you know, like a new generation. So I want to give them the credit for preparing this great video. You could see some of the names you might recognize, like Raphael Shore, which I work with for many, many years now, since the organization, his organization was founded. So I want to thank them. I know it's kind of, we're trying to put a lot of information in a very short amount of time, but the whole idea is that you can actually, I'm going to pause that video so you can actually watch it yourself in YouTube if you want to see it again, if you think that you want to see it again. But did it give you an idea about Zionism? Can I have some people kind of give feedback about the video? What did you think about the video? Just remember to unmute yourself before you speak.
Yeah, Ilan, this is Dave.
Hi, Dave.
I've always got something to say, but
Yeah.
that's good. Maybe shouldn't say it, but all the time, but I've got something to say. Anyway, I like the video very much because it gave us a complete, deep history of Zionism and its progression
The rundown.
to right now in time. And it gave us the forefathers of modern Israel who laid the groundwork for what we have today. So it's understandable.
Wonderful. By the way, you know, last week when I was trying to show a short example of a video, I know the audio didn't work well. And I just want to ask you if the quality of the video and the quality of the audio this time, was it much better than last week? Was it clear enough? Can I see your hands? Or give me thumbs up. Give me the reactions, you know, use the reaction button right there, you know, the thumbs up. So I know. Good, good, good. Did anybody have problems watching this video or listening to the audio? Good, good. Okay, so far I'm reading here in the chat. By the way, would like to see it again. It will be available. Very informative video, great. Liked it a lot, want to see it again. Good. Oh. Web. Oh. Great quality, haha. Okay, Dave was mistyping something, but I think we're all good. We're all good.
Ilan,
yes.
It was very, very good, and love to have a copy of it.
Thank you. And
You'll be making that available, right?
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Actually, that whole meeting that we have will be available, including the video. And I'm going to tell you all where it's going to be, because now I'm putting everything in one place. You know, after every meeting now that we have, I go to the new resources page that we have, and I put there the things that we have talked about, so you can always go back and look at it again. Funny thing, people were thinking they'll have a lot of time with their home, but I figured people find themselves busy, but I know that at least the ones that really want to go and watch it again. I know sometimes it takes me 3, 4, and even 5 times, even to see a film that I was involved in making, to get all the information. You always kind of learn something new.
Right.
This is, and again, with these short videos, they're trying to do 10 minutes, with a lot of information, and every time you're going to find something new. But the most important thing, I think, is that I hope now we're going to go and take the quiz again. The same way we did
No.
video. And the whole idea is that now you will feel, do you feel more comfortable now taking the quiz?
No.
Okay, okay, you know what? Let's do because here's the things about a quiz. You know, we told you that before, and we told you what the right answer is. You watch some of it in the video. If we're going to do it again now, it will even help you remember the right answers. That makes sense? So every time we actually do that, it's actually help you memorize it and remember that, especially that you see it also visually on the screen. Okay, and you heard it before. Okay. So let's do the quiz again. I promise you for the next session, maybe I'm not going to do the quiz before. We're just going to do the after, okay? We're going to watch the video, then do it, okay? So, yes, anybody have any question? Feel free to talk. Just remember to unmute yourself. I'm going to switch to my other screen. where I have the,
So I wasn't there for the first quiz. How does it work? Do we just reactions? Is that how you respond to it?
no, what you need to do you have a phone?
Yes.
Okay. So we're all gonna go, so the questions will be on the screen, on your computer screen, if you're watching on the computer.
Okay.
And your phone will be used as a device where you have 4 colors on it. And when you see the question, you see on the screen with different colors, you just press what you think, the color that you think is the right answer. Okay? But I'm gonna tell you how to go there. Okay?
Okay. I was gonna say.
Okay? Yes. So so I'm gonna do it right now. I'm actually gonna make sure it's up. Yes, it's up. Okay, here I'm gonna share it with you. So what I want all of you to do, some of you it's gonna be easier because you already have done it, okay? But bear with us a moment for the ones who did not do it before. So I want all of you to take your second device. Do not use the device where you see this screen right now. Use a different device. So I'm using actually a phone. Go on the internet. Don't go to kahoot.com. Go to kahoot.it. Okay? I'm gonna go there right now. I'm gonna leave it on the screen for a little while so you all can find it. And you should get a screen that tells something very simple. What's your game pin? That's the only thing it should say. Dave is back. Hi, Dave.
Ilan?
Yes.
Ilan, are you going to give the game pin again? Because,
Yes.
oh, okay.
I just want to make sure that everybody have it on the screen. If I can have my, when I have this thing behind here we go. That everybody have that on their screen that's saying enter your pin. I just was going to give a moment before I switch back. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing here. I'm going to ask all of you. Again, I'm going to, excuse me here for a moment. I'm going to remove my background. Just for the part when I'm showing you my phone because it doesn't work. Does all of you then have something that shows this? Right?
Just see the pin number.
Yes? Good. You all in this screen? Okay, next. Next, I'm going to generate a pin number for us. And as soon as I have it on, I'm going to share it with you right here. Okay, hold on. I'm also going to tell it to you, but I'm also going to share it with you. So that will be this screen. Good. I'm going to minimize us. I'm going to move that out of the way. Okay, do you all see the pin number on the screen?
No, the
Okay.
pictures are in the way.
You have to always have that, because if you don't see it, you're not going to see the questions.
9.
9, I'm going to read it, but I want to make sure that all of you see the screen, okay? The pin is 9937633. I repeat. And by the way, I want to tell all of you, remember, put a nickname. If you don't want people to know who you really are, you can put the nickname, okay? 9937633. All right, I see more people are 16 players. It's more than we had before. Keep on going. If anybody have problem, not on your Kahoot IT webpage, but on the other one, you can unmute and just tell me, hey, Ilan, I have a problem, I need help.
Well, on my phone, it doesn't give me a nickname. I must be the 9937633. How do you get a nickname?
When you enter the pin, then the next question should be, what's your nickname? That's okay, that's okay. So you just enter it twice, that's good, I can see you there.
Okay.
You're actually 9937, you see that? Where I'm putting
Yeah.
cursor
Okay.
now? So
Yeah.
you just probably enter it twice and that's okay.
Okay.
Okay, we're all not gonna know that it's you. We're just gonna forget it. Okay, so we have 16 players. Anybody else want to join before I start it? So remember what's going to happen on the screen that you see right now, where it's saying the 16 players and it's kind of changing colors from yellow to other colors. That's where you're going to see the question. It's going to give you four options, four answers. Each answer will be in a different color. And on your other device, your phone, you should choose the color that correlate to the answer that you think is the right answer. Again, for the ones that have done it before, no, it's easy. For the one doing it the first time, after a question or two, you'll get it, okay? So here we go, I'm gonna start it now. How long have the Jewish people have connected? All right, 14 got it right, and only me got it wrong because I don't want to be up there. It's me, yes. The right answer is over 3,000 years. So,
Ilan, we lost internet connection.
So you see the pin number at the bottom? You can try to enter it again, and if not, then you're just going to enjoy seeing the screen and guess, okay? With us. Everybody here, let's see the rating. First place is Boo, KJ, Squirrel, TK Cat, Sheila. Look at that. But I think we already have much better scoring than before. Let's go to the next question. Which two nations destroyed the two Jewish temples? The right answer is the Babylonians and the Romans. That's the right answer. And 13 of us got it right. Let's see how the standing is. Oh, we got a little bit changed, but still pretty good. Everybody's doing really well. And look at that, at the highest climber, we have up 4 places. True or false? The land of Israel has always been the geographic center of Jewish faith and practice. Remember, the question will always be also on the top again. 14 people got it right and only I got it wrong. Again, it's so bad. I'm getting them all wrong. All right, we're all doing well. Let's see how the standing is. A little bit different stand. They're all doing really good. That's good. Let's go to the next question. Remember, I'm trying to read the question really fast, but you can always see it on the top of the screen. And I'm trying to shut up as soon as the answers comes. So I'm not confusing you. Next question. Returning to the land of Israel is integral to Jewish. People got it right, which is all of the above, and actually the only one that actually said on religious identity. That's also a true answer, but it's also cultural and national identity. So the one that get all the points are the one that answer all the above. Okay, let's go to the next question. Oh, here's the new standing, and you know who you are. Sheila has a streak of 4 correct answers in a row. I think others do, but they just thought, hey, it would be pretty cool to mention her.
Oh dear.
Okay, what are the 2 examples of Jewish remembering Jerusalem during holidays? All right. Guess what? We have 2 right answers, and I believe all of us kind of fell between these 2. The Tisha B'Av and Yom Kippur was mentioned, and Jewish weddings and Passover Seder. Standing didn't change. We all did good. Now CJ is mentioned. Next question. What does it mean to make Aliyah? Everybody got it right. Everybody got it right. 15, to immigrate to Israel. And Aliyah means to immigrate to Israel. You know, I think all of you even heard from me before, it's not just a regular immigration. Aliyah means ascending. We're actually ascending, like we used to ascend to Jerusalem, the temple. So the meaning of the real word means to ascend. But of course, when you're saying I'm ascending to a specific country, it only means one place, Jerusalem, to immigrate to Israel. Standing didn't change. You're all doing pretty good, very competitive here. You know, it's good I didn't offer a new car to whoever win, because then I'll have to give a new car. Okay, let's go to the next question. Who founded Chovevet Zion, wrote auto-emancipation and code for The right answer is Leon Pinsker, and 13 of us got it right. Go to the next question. Ooh, look at that, first and second place. Really, really tied there. Which one of these is not historically a form of Zionism? Not. Academic Zionism is not a form of Zionism. That was the right answer. All the others actually were, there was a labor Zionism, there was a political Zionism, there was a religious Zionism, but there wasn't an academic Zionism. Let's see how the standing is now. Didn't change, still good, very tight there. Like, you know, every few seconds will make the difference. Who is considered the father of modern Zionism? You just shouted the answer before we even showed it. Well, somebody got it wrong, despite the fact that Nancy shouted the answer.
I'm so sorry. I didn't know it was on. Oh.
You know, you just told everybody the answer, but you know what? I think they would have known it anyway.
I do too. So there.
Theodor Herzl is considered the father of modern Zionism. It's a little bit tricky question because there are others like Leon Pinsker and Ahad Ha'am that were before Herzl was in the picture, but Herzl is the one that considered to be the father of modern Zionism. Very good, everybody. By the way, the wrong one was me again. Let's see, the standing is really good. Again, very close there. Next, final question. Which of the following are examples of Zionism? Look at that. I think all of us got points, no? We all got points, indeed. A lot of different examples of Zionism. There's a lot of different ways to be a Zionist. So let's see the final stand. The podium. Third place. Second place. First place. Why do they put numbers there? I don't know. Oh, here it is. Oh, it's the first. Well, you know, Oh, it's still doing it. Stop sharing. Here it is. Okay. How did you like it the second time around?
Better.
But wasn't that better?
Yeah.
But isn't that like helping you remember some of the things that you've seen in the video, like the main points? Kind of
Yes.
about it, and it's kind of in a fun way. So yeah, so when I'll do some of these classes in the future, I'll try to do some of this to help us remember that. And because look, we're already like an hour 15 into the class. And we're having a lot of fun, so we don't even notice like it's moving.
Yes.
So do you have any questions about Zionism, or at least the part that we've seen so far? Because I still have a couple of things to talk to you about. Are there any questions about anything we have done so far? Nope. And if you want to ask, remember to unmute yourself. Okay. Good. So I'm gonna switch back to the PowerPoint presentation. And I'm gonna share it with you. Oh, sorry about that. I've started from it, jump to the beginning, but I'm very quickly gonna go there. So I'm gonna give you an update about the elections. Last week we talked about it, that the important first part is to decide who are the 120 Knesset members. Think about it as congressmen. Imagine like Israel have only one Congress, and everybody in Israel is voting. It's like a popular vote. There are no districts. And the 120 people that go into the Knesset are representative of different, call it parties, which help, meaning based on how many votes they got, each party can put in specific number of people. We don't have one party that get over 50%. Therefore, there's always have to be form a coalition of a few parties. So the first step is these 120 that were elected, you know, because we didn't elect a prime minister or a government. in these elections. It's not what the voter decide. All the voter decides who are these 120. So these 120 goes to the prime minister, to the president, and tell the president, here is who I think should be the prime minister. The one that get the most of the votes from these 120 to the president, then the president invite that person over and tell him, I give you a task to form a government within 28 days. If you cannot do it, then you can get 14 days extension. So during this period of time, that person, most of the Knesset members give their vote to, go and negotiate with all the other parties and try to get enough so they can have over 50% of majority within these 120. And then they can actually go and vote for that government, approve that government. That's how it works. So the results of the elections were, and we talked about it last week, so I'm going to do it very quickly. I'm not going to go through the parties, but center left and left, the parties that typically fall in the left or the center left receive 45.83% of representation in the Knesset. So out of these 120 Knesset members, about 46% of them are coming from parties that typically will be considered center left or left. From the one that considered to be center right or right, 54% have representation in the Knesset. But I have a couple of parties here with asterisk on them. I don't know if you see my, here I'm going to use that. One of them called Israel Our Home, that is led by a person named Avigdor Lieberman. And even so, he considered to be a center-right party. He really doesn't get along with the ultra-Orthodox Jewish parties. And he also has some issues with Netanyahu because of the charges that are actually have against Netanyahu. Netanyahu have 3 charges against him pending trial. So he doesn't appreciate that. At the same time, the Arabs that have about just over 12% representation in the Knesset typically will not go into coalition with all the other parties, because all the other parties consider themselves as Zionist parties, and the Arabs party are not considered to be a Zionist party. So it was very interesting to see then what will happen, because this is how they're kind of dividing themselves, but what will each one of them will tell the president? Who do they want to be the prime minister? Netanyahu, which is the leader of the largest party on the right, or Gantz, that is the leader of the largest party on the center left and left. So what happened is that actually the Arabs, even though they usually don't side with anyone, they recommended Gantz. All the others on the left side also recommended Gantz. But Avigdor Lieberman, that typically considered to be more of a center-right party, because he doesn't think that Netanyahu should be a prime minister with the charges against him, he actually gave his vote to Gantz. Therefore, Gantz, by less than 1%, got more than 50%. Netanyahu got 48%. There was one Knesset member that said that she doesn't recommend neither of them, that she recommends neither of them. So therefore, the president gave Gantz the option to be the first person to try to form a coalition and have a new government in Israel. By the way, that's not a lot different than in the past. The only different in the past that there were more people that were in the non. So even so Netanyahu or Gantz before have a similar part, they never had a 50%. This is the first time actually that Gantz get over 50% of people recommending him to be the prime minister. So the next stage was actually to form, to go to the Knesset or actually form a government. But Gantz and some other parties that wanted Gantz to be the prime minister started immediately an effort by the Knesset members, by the lawmakers, to remove Netanyahu from office. Now, again, as I said, Netanyahu has 3 charges against him and pending trials. So the first law was by Israel Our Home Party, which is actually, again, considered to be a center-right party. And what they're trying to pass is to grant the Knesset, the Congress, the authority, with a simple majority and via a secret ballot, so no one knows who voted what, to actually to remove an indicted prime minister heading a transitional government. It's specifically about Netanyahu. Okay, so that's the first law that they want to try and vote for. Blue and White Party, Gantz Party, also have 3 laws that they want to do. One is to limit the prime minister to 2 terms in office. Netanyahu is more than 2 terms. The meaning of that will be that Netanyahu will not be able to be a prime minister anymore. They have another law that they're trying to push, is to prohibit anyone facing criminal charges from serving as prime minister. Again, if that law is passed, and they can actually, that means that Netanyahu cannot be prime minister. The next law that the Blue and White Party is trying to pass is to forbid the president, remember the one that gives somebody the authority to try to form a government, okay? To give an indicted member of Knesset a mandate to form a government. So they're saying not just that Netanyahu cannot be a prime minister, if this law is passed, he cannot even have the option to try to form a government, and therefore he cannot be a prime minister. So these are the 4 laws. What happened is that, you know, like in the US, a law goes through a lot of stages before it's actually get to the floor for voting, you know, and there are different ways to get the law to get stuck, you know, on the way to the floor if you're trying to, if you don't like the law. Let's say you're a head of a committee in the government, or the one that actually decides which law will go to the floor or will leave the committee even, or even will be voted on in a committee. So there are a lot of ways to stop that. So a very powerful person in the Israeli Knesset is the chair of the Knesset. And the chair right now is coming from Netanyahu party. So he said, well, I'm not going to put any of these, I'm not going to have these voted on. So what the Blue and White Party did, they went to and that's new. That's all new. Oh, everything I told you so far was a summary of what I also told last week. So what happened the last 7 days is that the Blue and White Party went to the Supreme Court in Israel, saying that the Supreme Court have to force the chair of the Knesset to allow the Knesset to vote on a new chair. Who will be a new chair? Of course, the current chair from the Netanyahu party says, no, I'm the chair. You know, until there's a government, I should be the chair. So the Israeli Supreme Court yesterday have a verdict where they told the current chair that by tomorrow, Wednesday, he must allow the Knesset to vote for a new chair. Meaning there are very good chances that tomorrow that we will have a new chair for the Knesset, and that chair will not be from Netanyahu party. And therefore, there are very good chances that some of these will make it to the floor for voting. So this is where we are right now. It doesn't look very good for Netanyahu. So this is, do we have any questions? You know, I'm gonna go here because we talked about the elections. Does anybody have any questions on that part? And remember, your microphone is mute. So if you want to speak, you want to unmute your microphone. Any questions? Well, was it all clear? Pretty straight? Okay, good. Okay. So the next thing I want to talk to you about is the update about the coronavirus. So, you know, last week I told you there's no death. Actually, the update is that since last week, Israel actually have 3 deaths. One of them, I'm sorry to share, is a Holocaust survivor, an 88 years old Holocaust survivor that died from the corona. It's always extra sad when you hear about Holocaust survivors. Actions are still very similar to the US, but happening much earlier, usually taking place. I talked about Israel utilizing hotels, where they're actually converting a whole hotel to where they can actually, people that have the virus are staying at. So that hotel is only for that. It's almost like becoming like a hospital for people that just need to be quarantined. And last week I told you about tracking, that Israel has an intelligence option where they can actually know where every person was at any time, at any moment, pretty much by your smartphone. And any one of you that carry a smartphone with you, whoever know how to do that, they can tell where exactly you were at any given moment. So what they approved in Israel that was very controversial is that the government will use that data that in the past was used only for very specific things. They will use it for anyone that actually have the virus. So what will happen? For an example, and Israel actually have now an app for every citizen in Israel. You cannot use it, by the way, outside of Israel, but I took some screenshots, which, you know what, I didn't put them on my computer because it's easier, like take them over the phone. But the screenshot, which is in Hebrew, so it's actually come from the health ministry in Israel. You know what, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna, so you see these, you see my phone on your screen?
Not really clearly.
Yeah, well, it's in Hebrew anyway. But it is from the health ministry.
Mm-hmm.
Go there, okay? You go and say, hey, am I at risk? Now, because Israel, anyone that have the virus, they track to the minute anywhere they were at.
Mm-hmm.
And they can tell where I was. So for an example, let's say that I was at Costco St. Louis Park yesterday between 5 and 5:30. If I'm telling them, check on me, if they find out that somebody that have the virus was at St. Louis Park, Costco, during the time that I was there, they will automatically give me here a notification saying, you were there when somebody, you were in the same place with someone that have the virus. Okay? And they will say, here's where it happened. It happened Costco St. Louis Park, and it happened between 5 and 6 p.m. At that time, that date, you were there. It showed by your phone, we know because we can track it, that you went in at that time and you left at that time, and you have two options. It says, were you really there? Because, you know, someone else might be using my phone. You know, might be someone else took my phone. So I can say, no, I wasn't there. You know, it wasn't me, so it's wrong. Or if you're saying, yes, it was me, you get immediately instructions on your phone what you have to do. And obviously it goes in, and all the information where you were goes into there. So it's like keep on providing the information. Because, and they also give you exactly what to do, meaning it's very detailed. Because one of the things that I know, like many people in the US are wondering, they're like, okay, how do I know if I came in touch with someone that have the virus or not? If it takes 14 days to develop, do I have to be more careful or not? You know, do I need to go and ask to get the test or not? So this is something that was very controversial in Israel before it was approved. It was approved, and actually it is working. So again, the Israel is trying to do the best they can, probably even more than what some other countries are doing. But again, I'm sorry to share with you that since our meeting last week, we have 3 people that died. I'm just hoping for better news for all of us. Any questions so far?
How many cases of the virus is there in Israel?
You know, it's changing every day. I don't remember the last one, the last number. I can probably find out, but it's I think I was trying to compare. I need to do it maybe in a better way. I was trying to take like the size of Israel.
Yeah.
Compared to the US, trying to do like the right ratio, you know?
Yeah.
And until like, yes, because we have the 3 people dying in the last 24 hours.
Mm.
So actually, I looked at it like yesterday and it actually looked better, you know? And now I'm not sure, you know, I need to know how many people actually died.
What's the total population of Israel?
It's 8 million.
That's like double of Minnesota then.
Yeah.
Yeah, just about.
One
Yeah.
death.
Yeah. And so that's the update about the corona. Again, I'm always keep on saying, I hope next week when we'll meet, I have better news for you.
Yeah.
All of us, all over the world, is just gonna get better. Another thing that I wanted to share with you, again, we did it last week, but is that we have the resource page, and I keep on adding to it. Make sure to write down this URL, matmn.org/SFI, or stand for Israel, okay? Then you scroll down to the resource link. I'm sorry, I have something here that came from some other slide. But scroll down to the resource link, and actually I'm gonna take you there. So and if you remember when we were in the class, I showed you that you can actually use it on your phone. It's a very easy thing also to use on your phone. And I'm going to show you right now the web version.
Are you done?
The desktop version. So that's a page that have information about our meetings. But the secret is at the bottom. If you go all the way to the bottom, just click here for resource page. And here, you know, so originally we have, because we started it when Joanne, Deb, and I came back from the Kufi Summit and said, hey, they have this great new educational videos, primers, ebooks, and talking points that we should have. Then last week I added the short educational videos about Israel by PragerU, where I made a list where you actually have all the Israeli related lists to PragerU, so you don't have to look for them yourself, okay? And look what I added this time. We have video recordings of Stand for Israel meetings. So that one actually already include, and it's also a list that I will continue to maintain. So if you click on it, the first video is actually our last week meeting. And I just added 2 other videos that I have. So I have more than one just to begin with.
I missed what he was.
And if you click on it, see how that works. Yeah, I have like, press the record here, you're actually going to see a notice on the top left of the screen saying recording. So that screen is actually being recorded. And we're going to do another thing, is that I'm actually going to run a PowerPoint presentation. So what will happen now? So if you can see, that's actually the whole meeting that we have last week. And I'm just kind of going quickly through it. Back to election. One question from Gwen. So if any one of you missed it or missed part of it, you can always go and see it. Does that make sense? Did it work? Did you see the video? It was actually the recording from last week. I'm going to take also this meeting, and hopefully within a day or 2, I will have it available there too. Just always remember to go to that. I'm going to keep on sending you to the same website, matmn.org/SFI, which is acronym for Stand for Israel. at the bottom, the link for our previous meetings. Are there any questions?
I'm wondering if there's, about, people that have trips to Israel planned for later this year.
Mhm.
Is everybody just on hold for now?
Well, it's all depend. I think that ones that were planning on traveling next month or even in May are already starting to. But do we have anyone here in the meeting that actually has a trip planned for the next couple of months? Joanne, Deb, I know that you travel to Israel often. Do you have any trip planned?
No.
Deb?
Well, we do.
Yeah, Ilan.
Yes,
hear me?
Deb. Yes, now I can hear you.
Okay, the Daughters for Zion trip that was scheduled for May has been postponed to November 9th
Okay.
to the 18th. So there's still a few seats left if anyone's interested. But November 9th to the 18th.
How about Kufi?
Well, that is a Kufi run tour, meaning Frosh is the travel company, but they also had another tour that was planned for the fall. I think that's still on. You can check on the website, kufi.org.
I mean the Kufi conference in DC. This.
Oh, that one. Yeah. So far, that's on. We've gotten emails to promote registration. You can register online or call the San Antonio office. But as far as I know, they're pushing registration pretty hard. So I think they're anticipating that it's a go, but as we've seen, things are day by day today.
Yeah.
Anyone else know that if they had any plans for Israel and what they're doing, or?
For Kufi?
No, I'm asking just
or anybody.
Anybody, yeah.
I see Joanne's not saying anything.
No, Joanne, she said she didn't have any plans. Yeah.
I have friends that were going to go a week from today, but it's canceled.
Okay. Yes. Well, God willing, by the time for sure when the Kufi summit is around, it's all going to be behind us already for some time, and it's not going to put they won't have to postpone the summit. Any other things? By the way, I was going to have another section for our meeting today, but we're having so much fun. I didn't even notice how the time ran. We're already 10 minutes behind the original time. So I was going to do a short video about Herzl and then do a quiz about it. Do you like that quiz? Do you like that quiz? Can I see thumbs up? It's like, is that fun? Okay. So I'm going to find some other time maybe to do that quiz about Herzl and then watch 10 minutes about Herzl. And I know that this quiz before and after is going to help you remember a lot of things about Herzl, at least the main points. So regarding the class itself, I'm going to wrap it up here. But before I do, of course, as always, first I want to thank all of you. But before I wrap up, I want to give an opportunity to Joanne and Deb. If they want to add anything, say anything, I'm actually going to mute myself and let them wrap up the meeting. We will be planning again to meet like that. Do you like this type of a meeting that we can, even from home, we can still meet? Right? Is it, and I hope it's also making it easy for people that typically cannot attend because of the distance, in regular classes, but here it's making it easier to do it actually on a computer. So I know we're missing some that maybe don't feel comfortable meeting on the computer, but I hope it's also going to bring us some new ones that typically cannot make it, but can do it on the computer.
Joanne here, I accidentally logged off, so I just got back on. But we're not quite sure what we're going to do next week. I know Deb has some things we want her to be able to share, and I have another presentation on Christian Zionism, which can be done later. So we'll send out a message so everybody knows what's going to happen next week, and I'm really grateful that Ilan was able to give this, this good presentation tonight.
Yeah. Deb, do you want to add anything? Deb?
Deb, are you there?
Deb.
I've got the phone and I have the computer. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oops, somebody
Yeah,
shared
I
the
thought it was
screen.
a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah,
It was a lot of fun.
Somebody shared the screen. Oops, now it's gone. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Thank you. So before we leave, while Joanne and Deb are gonna close with a prayer, I'm gonna change my background. So when you see Israel in the background, you can see Israel in my background. I'm gonna mute myself. I'm gonna let Joanne and Deb wrap up the meeting today. Go for it.
Well, I'm a little bit hoarse tonight, but it doesn't have anything to do with the current virus. It's the last year and a half. But anyway, Lord, we just thank you for this opportunity to be together here online. And we thank you for the technology that enables us to see each other when we're far apart. We do ask for your mercy and your blessing on this country and on all the countries where these problems are going on. And we thank you, Lord, that you are in charge. You know what's going on even when we don't. So we just pray that you'll show us exactly what you want us to do in the days ahead. And we thank you for the privilege of being your servants. And we pray in your name. Amen and amen.
Deb, do you want to add anything? You're muted.
Oh, dear.
Apparently, I have to have both of them unmuted. I have the phone and the computer, but
Good.
I will say amen and
I couldn't
amen.
make my phone
Yeah.
work, so.
Can I get also feedback from everybody? Do you think the length today was good? Even so we did it on a computer, did you find it interesting and engaging and educational? And you want us to continue that way? Can I get thumbs up, either using your actions or good? Wonderful. Thank you all. Thank you very much. God bless you. As we usually do in a regular thing, I'm going to leave, but I'm going to leave that room open. If any one of you want to chat with each other, you can stay here for a little longer and talk. Thank you so much, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Ilan.
Thank you.
Aloha.
Yeah.
So, anybody have any comments?